Welcome. I'm Juliette Palmer. I'm the Director of Professional Services.
My name's Lauren Shelley, and I am an implementation consultant.
I'm Megan. I'm the Integrations Manager here at Foothold Technology. And today, we're going to guide you through what you can expect while implementing awards.
Software implementation can be really intimidating, but we rely on a time-tested process that we've developed over more than 2 decades of successful implementations for hundreds of agencies. To ease any concerns, we wanted to share some questions we get about the process. Don't worry, you're in excellent hands.
The implementation process starts with getting to know your agency, your services, your goals, and priority. This starts prior to contract signing. It begins with your sales team, and it continues to grow as you lead up to implementation. After signing your contract, you'll receive an implementation questionnaire from your implementation consultant, and this allows us to understand the unique details of your agency and develop a project plan for that implementation.
You'll be assigned an implementation consultant who will be with you for the duration of your implementation. We call them ICs, and they are experts at their craft. Your IC will schedule a kickoff call where you'll meet a few other folks on the Foothold team. Most importantly, your customer success manager. Your success manager is your long-term partner at Foothold. And though they tend to stay in the background during the implementation, we want you to meet them early so you can get to know the entire team invested in your success. From there, your IC will develop a work plan, and they'll also begin to set up your database.
An average implementation project takes about 6 months to initial go live. We've seen them go faster, and we've seen them take longer, especially with larger, more complex multi-population organizations that implement in phases. Your custom project plan will dictate how long you can expect implementation will take. If your organization is under a specific deadline to have a system up and running, now is a good time to communicate that to your sales team. And we could take a look at potential options to meet that timeline.
We do have a couple of enhanced implementation packages which can speed up the process. One package involves your IC coming to your site for intensive configuration over several days. Another is a package that adds more meeting time per week to get you to go live faster. So if you know that you have a tight deadline and want to accelerate beyond our standard process, you might want to think about adding one of these packages.
Your internal team will meet with your IC once per week. During these calls, you will learn about awards, your IC learns about your services and your workflows, and together you talk about the best ways to configure awards. You'll also plan to spend time between calls on weekly homework assignments where you'll make final configuration decisions. Let's talk a minute about your internal implementation team. It is really the beating heart of implementation. They are responsible for key decisions, both at the agency level and program level. So you want to make sure that these individuals have the authority to make decisions for your agency. We recommend including program and compliance experts, billing experts if you choose to bill, and in general, those who have a lot of knowledge about how your agency operates. If you're unsure about who to include on your team, talk to your sales rep for more information. And we cannot say this enough. The best team members are those who are excited about awards. Enthusiasm drives success.
We think about implementation as happening in several stages. The stages may overlap or might even repeat if a longer phased rollout is planned. Discovery is the first stage where we learn about your agency and your goals and develop a work plan around both. At the same time, your team will be learning about awards. In a certain sense, this stage never completely ends because we'll continue that kind of mutual learning for the duration of the project. The next stage is configuration, which is that iterative process where you learn about a module or a function in awards and your options for configuring it to fit your programs. You'll make configuration decisions and see those changes take effect in your database as your IC implements them. Data seeding or data migration is something we'll begin talking about right at kickoff. You'll identify the data that needs to be in your database before you can go live, such as your current client roster and employees, and begin importing or entering them into awards. You'll also identify your longer-term data migration needs, which might include things like historical client records, scanned documents, or assessment data. Data migration can sometimes be difficult and it can be time-consuming, so we'll guide you through it.
Training is key to a successful awards launch. We'll design individualized training sessions that provide the right training at the right time to the right people. Training will run concurrently with other stages of awards implementation. Your contract includes a number of startup training days for your first year, but we have other training resources available that we highly recommend any awards user take advantage of. We have a resource center with a lot of information, and we offer monthly sessions on awards basics. The next phase is the most exciting phase, go live. And this is a big deal if it's a single program or if it's your entire agency. But don't worry, your IC does not walk away once you're live. We have a post-live period of about 8 weeks where we continue to make tweaks to your configuration, work on additional tasks such as building out reports or forms, and then looking at other items that we may have deferred earlier in the timeline. For a phased rollout, post-go-live support is provided for each program or division. And keep in mind, every implementation timeline is different. 8 weeks may be too much for some programs or too little for others. We're not held to that specific timeline. The absolute most important goal is that you're successful with awards. We will not shortcut support for a really solid start.
When you're ready, we'll transition you to your success manager, who will then be your main Foothold contact going forward. We have success managers on our team today who have been partnered with some agencies for more than 20 years. We really mean it when we say that this is a long-term relationship. As part of what you're planning to do in awards, you might also be rolling out additional integrated tools like e-prescribing, EMAR, or billing. Each tool has some basic data requirements that have to be met before you can get started with them. For example, if you're going to use e-prescribing, complete client demographic information needs to be entered before you can begin. Or another good example is billing. Let's say your regulations require that you can only bill for services if they're linked to a service plan or treatment plan. If you're planning on doing your billing in awards, you'd need your clients to have current service plans entered so that clinicians can link notes to them in order to get started. So what that means is just that these tools need to be scheduled within your larger implementation plan. They can't just roll out all at once. Your IC will guide you on those integration requirements and will include them in your overall project plan, so you'll know what to expect in terms of timing and in terms of what needs to be in place before you start.
That's our implementation process in a nutshell. Some key takeaways. A lot of energy and attention are put into the implementation process. Getting off to a good start is critical, so we don't want to skip on any details. We also want to become a trusted partner throughout the process. We know awards, but nobody knows your agency like you do. Put us together and you'll get some powerful results.